lived in, are living in. And we know that in the past, in perhaps other regimes in the Arab world, that dictators and despots have managed to turn attention away and divert attention away from such conditions by scapegoating Israel, by demonizing Israel. If Al Jazeera and other Arab media now focus on those conditions and the causes of those conditions and hold these dictators accountable, doesn't that ultimately benefit Israel?
Definitely. Because now time has come that the Arab world deals with its own problems and not use Israel as a fig leaf to blame Israel for the poverty in Egypt or for the oppression in Syria or for the problem of Hezbollah in Lebanon or for the problem of the unemployment in Tunisia or the oppression of the Amazighs, of the Berbers in Morocco, and all those, or the genocide in Darfur. It's time that the Arab world start with dealing with its own problems.
So
and leave Israel alone.
If Al Jazeera is doing that, why would you not see Al Jazeera as a positive?
Al Jazeera is doing it now because this is where the news are. When riots in Egypt are and hundreds of people are killed because of these riots, they cannot show an Israeli who built some apartment in Jerusalem. This is not the issue today because people will look for the hadath, for the news to see. So definitely, and this can be viewed as vast success of Al Jazeera to topple the Egyptian regime as they wanted all the time. Only because in their view, Mubarak was an ally of Israel. And he gave peace to Israel, and he gave Israel an insurance policy to live forever in the Middle East. This is why he should be toppled. And in the Ikhwan, in the Muslim Brotherhood view, this was a sin which nobody can forgive.
Well, I wanted to go back to a point that Dr. Kedar mentioned about the Muslim Brotherhood and Sheikh Yusuf al-Qaradawi being the spiritual leader of the Al Jazeera, and of Al Jazeera being dominated by the Muslim Brotherhood. I'm not going to defend this, by the way, but I'm going to refer you to a lot of people in here saying that Jews control the American media. It's the same thing.
They control the whole world.
No, I'm saying some people say that the Jews control the American media. And I'm saying here, you cannot say that Muslim Brotherhood control Al Jazeera. This is not true. And this is a deception of the truth. I mean, if you don't like what Al Jazeera is saying, bring out the issues. Who controls Al Jazeera? And I want to talk about the issues. I don't want to talk about who controls what, who controls the New York Times. I wanted to take something that the New York Times said and just maybe argue the point on it. The other thing is, nobody is blaming Israel for poverty in the Arab world. People in the Arab world are blaming poverty and oppression against the regimes that are supported by the United States. Those dictators in the region, if it wasn't for the United States, Hosni Mubarak would have gone on January 25th. The support of the American administration, the US administration, has really put Egypt and Hosni Mubarak in power, and he maintains his power. Now, I tell you what Israel is being blamed. Israel is being blamed for what Israel is doing against the Palestinians in the occupied territory. I was privy to signing the Oslo Accord in the White House in 1993. I was there. And we thought that we have reached something there. You know, we want a settlement. We have agreed to a two-state solution. The one who is really not accepting the two-state solution are the Israeli government. That they continue to be, to defy international will and build more settlement and make a Palestinian state an impossible one. So since Israel is being blamed for what Israel is doing, no one is going to blame Israel for the poverty in Egypt. That doesn't make sense. No one is going to blame Israel for the oppression in Egypt or in Tunisia, or in Algeria, or in Syria, or in Saudi Arabia, or in Jordan. This is an issue that has to do with the regimes, those who are supporting the regimes in power, which is the United States, definitely, and the military and the security apparatus that these regimes have to control their population.
Mr. Sly, staying with the media and its role in the peace process here, we've all seen the editorial cartoons in the Arab press depicting Jews in all manner of dehumanizing ways, the Nazification of Jews, the demonization of Jews. Is that a detriment to this peace process, to create in the minds of the readers of the Arab media these demonic images of Jews and of Israel? Is that harmful to the peace process?
Of course it is, but this exists on both sides. It's not something that a monopoly to the Arab press. I mean, we have also in the Israeli press that they vilify Arabs, and some leaders in Israel have said that Arabs are cockroaches. I mean, or snakes that needs to be smacked. I mean,
When the Saudi king said it's the same thing.
Let me finish. I disagree with the Saudi king.
About the
But you
Iranians.
disagree with the Israelis calling Arabs cockroaches and snakes, and they have to be smashed. I disagree with what the king of Saudi Arabia said against you. The thing is that, yes, I agree. Yes, I agree with that too. I agree that there are, cartoons in the Arab media that are despicable, and they need not to be there. Of course. And there are extremists everywhere. But I do not think that we should turn a blind eye to what's happening in the Israeli media as well. I mean, this needs to be, we need to see in both eyes. We need to be hearing in both ears in here. We cannot just turn a blind eye to what's happening in Israel. Unless we do this, our moral ground is shaking. Because we do not want to see. We want to see only what's happening in the Arab world. And I'm telling you right now, what's happening in the Arab world, some of it is not acceptable. And we are brave enough, bold enough to come and say, this is not acceptable. We would like someone from the other side saying, this is not acceptable, so we can meet and stop talking to each other.
Dr. Kanar, in preparing for this event, I came across a report, an analysis of the way Arab Israelis are depicted by the Israeli media. And this report found that,
By whom?
and I'm sorry, I didn't jot down the story, but it was an Israeli group, and found that its contention was that Arab Israelis are represented in just 1.1% of total Israeli media reports, and 80 to 90% of the time it's negative. Does Israel have its own sins in terms of coverage, of fair coverage of Arabs in its own country and outside its country?
Let's put things in proportion. Israel's 20% of the population are Arabs, most of them are Muslims. They have Israeli passport, Israeli ID, which opens in front of them all the gates in the world, unlike what the Arabs all over the Arab world have. Those Arabs in Israel are called and depicted in the Arab world as Arab Zibda, means Arabs of whipped cream. Why? Because they live in a democratic state, enjoy the rights of the democratic state, and of course there are all kinds of sectors in Israel. I'm as a religious Jew, also in some circles I'm marginalized. Okay, not every state is a heaven of equality. I think even the United States of America, I'm not sure that Afro-Americans have all the opportunities open in front of them like others. Okay, so Israel is like every other normal state, and the Arabs are living there in the best way of Arabs in the world, because all the Arabs in the world, and you can correct me, they live in one of two conditions: either in the dictatorships of the homeland, or in the democracies of exile.